and here's the instructional video for rolling the arm. Okay, now we're going to do our wall version of rolling the arm. So if you were looking to add a little bit more pressure into the arm work and it didn't feel like just having the roller on your lap was enough, here's how we're going to do that. This is something that we teach all of our professional baseball players or tennis players or even our normal weekend warriors. Any issues within the arm, the elbow, the shoulder, this is going to have a huge impact for. So what Jenna's going to do is she's going to take the roller, she's going to put it against the wall, and she's going to put it horizontally against the wall. Now what she's going to do is she's going to start it about just below, in the meat of the deltoid. So this big muscle that's out here, you're just going to put it in the middle of that. Now we're going to work with a couple of different motions, and the way that this is going to work is that what we don't want you to do is to shrug the shoulder up and down to accomplish this motion. If you're shrugging up and down, what's going to happen is that you're engaging and you're tightening all that tissue, and you're not going to get the change out of it the way that we are if we can keep the arm nice and soft. So how we're going to keep it soft is you want your arm to hang like a spaghetti noodle. There's no contracture, you're not holding your hand, you're not making a fist, you're just letting everything be nice and soft. So where the up and down motion is going to come from is you're going to use the outside leg to lean into that outside leg, and what's going to happen is that the knee is going to float forward just a little bit, which is going to sink you down, and then when you bring the knee back to straight, it's going to raise you up. So this small motion of knee straight forward and knee straight back is going to be how we're going to work through this lateral arm through here. Now the beautiful part to this is that even though that her knee is flexing, it's really not a lot of work, right? Now what you want to stay away from with the legs is that some people want to turn this into a workout, so they squat real deep into that knee and come way down, and then they want to go way up, and again, that's just going to cause everything to contract, and you're not going to get the change out of it the way that you could if you work with these smaller motions. So what we can do is before we move her into another spot, we could maybe even roll her forward just a little bit and find a different spot within that arm, and by changing your angle, and it's exactly the same motion with the knee. The knee goes forward, which drops you down. The knee comes back, which is what raises you up. And you're trying to keep this arm spaghetti noodled all the way soft. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to keep checking in to see if that knee is, or if the shoulder is nice and soft, because the shoulders are used to being under so much tension, it's really easy to shrug those shoulders. And what you're going to do is after you find those spots in that one line, then you're just going to lower the roller down. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to just start right on your side, lean into it, relax into the roller, and you're going to let the knee float forward and let the knee float back, and that's going to be how you're going to work that arm, and you're going to work that from the upper arm all the way down towards the elbow. Now, after you work down towards the elbow and you kind of work all the spots that you want with the up and down, what we're going to work with next is a little bit of a rotational dynamic, which is going to more so change how the nerve sensors are sensing what's going on, and it's going to stimulate those pressure sensors in a safe way that's going to encourage the nervous system to tell that tissue to soften and let go. So if my shirt got twisted on my body and I tried to just pull the shirt straight up and down to try to fix it, it's not going to really change the twist that's in my shirt. So what I need to do is I actually need to be able to untwist the shirt so the shirt can hang like you're supposed to. It's the same thing in a sock. If your sock gets twisted and you just pull the sock up, the sock is still twisted on your foot. It feels weird. So we actually have to untwist that sock to get it to go back to straight. The same thing happens in the arm, is that when we overuse our arms, or even when we underuse our arms, this tissue kind of gets rotated in some spots that it's maybe not supposed to be, and then that fascial tissue gets really sticky and it glues together and it pins all those tissues down. So your nerves, your veins, your arteries, the muscle cells, all of that gets stuck together. So here's how we're going to work with the rotation with this, is that we're going to have Jenna start with her sternum facing right straight forward, and the rotation that we need to work with out of the arms is that when this tissue gets tight, it tends to pull the arms out like this. So what we need to do is we need to be able to roll through that tissue and work the arm from outside to inside, so the arm can hang here and settle in its true neutral position. And so what we're going to do with that is, as she's facing this direction, with her sternum right straight forward, right towards the camera, all she's going to do is making sure the arm stays all the way relaxed. She's going to roll her body from the outside towards the inside. And that's what she's going to do. She's going to soften her pressure just a little. So if she wants to keep that hand on the roller, that's okay. And nice and easy, she's going to come back to that start position, and she's going to lean into the roller nice and soft, making sure the arm is spaghetti noodled. And then she's going to roll from the outside to the inside. And that's going to work on untwisting that sock and taking all of that tissue that really gets glued to the bone, and they get glued to each other, and it's going to soften that and open it up. Now she can do that anywhere within this upper arm and onto the elbow. So all the golfer's elbow and tennis elbow issues where people just get so stuck in and around that elbow joint and up through that deltoid, this is going to help open up all that tissue. And what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to take that all the way down onto the forearm. So we're going to replicate that from the top of the arm all the way down and through. So as she works with her two motions, either up or down, or rotation, it's going to be the same from the top of the arm all the way down and through this forearm. So Jen, if we go ahead and lower that roller down into that forearm. Now this is really fantastic for we all do things with our hands, and the muscles in our forearms tend to get so tight and overburdened that we lose our ability to have finite control over our fingers. You know, playing the piano, even eating, simple tasks like buttoning the buttons on my shirt, all can be impacted because all of the connective tissue in and around this forearm is tight and restricted, and it doesn't let the arm move like it's supposed to. So as we transition into that forearm, the variation and the wall variation is exactly the same thing. She's going to work with that simple up and down motion by letting her knee float forward, letting her knee float backwards. That's going to do the up and down motions, and she can do that in different spots anywhere within that cylinder by changing what position she's standing in. And then the rotational piece for that forearm is going to be the same thing. She's going to start with her sternum facing right straight forward, nice and easy. The arm is in between her body, in between the roller, and as she leans into this, she's going to rotate and turn her hips and her sternum towards the wall, and that's going to work through this tissue and help unglue that twist that happens throughout this whole cylinder or the whole arm. And that's going to be the way that we're going to work the upper arm as well as the forearm.